So yeah, I just watched Morbius. Hey guys, welcome back to Ad Talk, and this is my review for Morbius. As always guys, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and please do consider subscribing. Wow, that was some experience, and not in a good way. It's been a while since I left the cinema feeling so hollow inside. When you watch a 1 hour and 40-minute movie and it manages to make you feel nothing, no laughs, no emotions, no wow moments, just pure disappointment, knowing the kind of talent that is in front of the camera and behind the camera as well. I had much higher expectations, although we need to talk about those screenwriters. So, Morbius, directed by Daniel Espinosa, written by Matt Sazama and Burk, Sharpless, starring Jared Leto as Dr. Michael Morbius, is the story of Michael Morbius, who, in his attempts to cure his and best friend Milo's rare blood disease, ends up turning into a vampire. The plot is simple enough, so you must be thinking where all of this could have gone wrong. Let's start from the clear and obvious problem. When your screenwriters are known for the following movies: Dracula Untold, Gods of Egypt, The Last Witch Hunter, the Power Rangers reboot, and Lost in Space, well, you must be careful of your lofty expectations. And yes, it is indeed the writing which is one of the biggest issues of this movie. The 1 hour and 40-minute screen time was nowhere near close enough to help us get to know Michael Morbius, empathize with his character, which we probably would still not have done because Jared Leto is so damn unlikable. Learn more about Morbius's friendship with Milo and actually care about that, with a very fun performance by Matt Reeves, which we'll be talking about later on, and then actually get to enjoy the supposed horror and actual elements of this movie, elements that unfortunately are so rushed that you barely have time to even notice they started. That is clearly one of the biggest issues here. Everything is rushed. We never have time to settle with our characters. It is just one sprint to the finish line. Now, I don't know if this screen time was decided by the director and screenwriters or just imposed on them by some higher-ups, but it just means that this story and the developments that take place, whether plot or character, are far too bare bones to ever have us caring. And what little time the characters do get to talk to each other, we are simply given exposition dump after exposition dump, which feels as tedious as it is sounding right now in my review. So I guess it's time to talk about our riveting characters. Our lead, Jared Leto, is surprisingly not awful in his role, Dr. Michael Morbius. It's great to finally see Leto in a role where he doesn't feel the need to ham it all up with exaggerated overacting. Morbius himself is a rather uninteresting character, but at least Leto provides him with a touch of gravitas. Matt Reeves as the antagonist Milo is probably the best part of this whole mess. I get the feeling he knew how bad the whole project was going to end up being, and he just let go of all seriousness and just had a great time in his role. He seems to be the only actor enjoying himself. Everyone is so damn serious in this movie. The whole story is absolutely ridiculous, and this movie has no right to take itself as seriously as it tries to do. Matt Reeves is the only one who understood that. Then we get Adria Ariona as Martine Bancroft, whose character simply falls into the love interest stereotype with nothing to offer. Jared Harris as the father figure character for Morbius and Milo, wasted talent there. And a couple of FBI agents whom you get the feeling were meant to be more important in the story than they ended up being in the final product. So, with threadbare characters, a paper-thin story, and exposition-laden dialogue, at least the action and special effects can help liven things up, right? Sadly, this is one of the worst parts of this movie. The action is not plain, it's not boring, it's not by the books. it is awful. Some of the camera work in these scenes is so confusing. You'll have no idea what is going on. It's simply a mess, and to make matters worse, the lighting in this movie is terrible, and so you'll find it even harder to understand what is going on. And why does it all look so cheap? The production value for episode 1 of Moon Knight felt so much better than what I saw in Morbius, and that was an episode for a TV series. Any positives out of all this? Like I said, Matt Reeves is having a blast in his role, and Jared Leto is not awful, far from it. He actually gives an okay performance, but everything around our two main actors is pretty bad. The writing, the action, the visuals, the dialogue. If I could hint at another positive, to be fair, I must say that some of the horror elements were not half bad and would have actually been good if the cinematography and camera work was not such a mess. I've used this word a lot, mess, because that's exactly what this whole film feels like. It's a mess that has unfortunately been linked to the Marvel Cinematic Universe through the two post-credit scene we had to suffer through at the end of this abomination. Somehow, they both manage to make this movie worse than it already is. Some spoilers are coming up, although why you would want to suffer through this whole movie in the first place, I could not answer. But anyways, in the first post-credit scene, we see the sky fracturing like in No Way Home, and then see Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes, aka Vulture, appearing in a jail cell with one of the worst lines ever uttered in any Marvel movie. We then also get a hint that Sony are pushing for a Sinister Six movie in the second post-credit scene. But considering how bad Venom was minus Tom Hardy and how awful Morbius was, I really have zero excitement for that project. My rating for Morbius is a 1 out of 5, and my recommendation for absolutely no one, unless you're some kind of masochist who enjoys torturing themselves, to watch this movie. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Adlib Talk.